Hey, greetings! Welcome back to Sean's Irish Whiskey Shelf, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest where we're still waiting for spring. Some of you already have spring. Some of us out here, we'd still like spring to show up eventually. And you know, when it's cold outside, that's always a good reason to enjoy a little bit of Irish whiskey. So tonight, what we're going to try together are 3 different bottles of Powers Irish whiskey. Now, these come from the Midleton Distillery. You already know them as Jameson and Redbreast and the Spots, Method and Madness, Midleton. So this is another brand that they distill and bottle. This was originally, the Powers original distillery was located on Johns Lane, hence the Powers Johns Lane. And it was about 1974 that operations moved over to the Midleton distilling plant. So what I have for you this evening, we're going to start with Powers Gold Label. This is your entry-level Irish whiskey. This is a blend, mostly pot still, not single pot still. It's mostly pot still with a little bit of grain whiskey mixed in. No age statement, but you can expect it to be at least 3 years old, triple distilled, non-chill filtered, and it's 86.4 proof. Right? Some of the reviews you're going to read, it's better than a Jameson's, but maybe not worth the extra money. Others really think it's a great drop of whiskey. So it's been a little while since I've had it. Obviously, I have had quite a bit, but I haven't had it in a little while. So let's refresh our memory here. See what Powers Gold Label tastes like. What that tastes like is some good Irish whiskey. 86.4 proof, so it's going to have a little bit more of the alcohol burn, but not objectionable, and I would probably drink that over Jameson or proper number 12 any day of the week. Would I drink it over Tullamore Dew? I don't know. I would drink it as easily as I drink Tullamore Dew, which, as most of you know, is one of my favorites. But I can see coming up, we're going to do a show. Maybe we'll do Powers, the Roe & Co., and Tullamore Dew. Maybe we'll put those 3 together, see how they stack up. So anyway, I think for my palate, that's a good Irish whiskey. It's got a little bit of that punch like you'd find from something that's 86.4. It's not objectionable, doesn't have a terrible aftertaste. It's not too sweet. Got a little bit of spice to it, but overall, I think that's a pretty good bottle of whiskey. So, yeah, I recall thinking that when I first got it. So, I'm glad it still holds true. All right, let's go to Powers 3 Swallow. Now, Powers 3 Swallow is new for me. I didn't pick it up until this past weekend, so it hasn't been on the shelf for very long. It definitely seems to be the darkest of the 3, with Powers Gold Label being the lightest of the 3. So color-wise, it's a little bit darker. The Powers 3 Swallow and the Powers Johns Lane are both pure single pot still, so they're not a blend. The Powers 3 Swallow, 100% malted and unmalted barley, so it's going to be a barley whiskey. They tell you the story behind the 3 Swallow is their carriage drivers would have a little flask of whiskey, and to keep warm in the cold winter, they'd each have a swallow, and since there were 3 of them, they called that the 3 Swallow. I've also read information where Powers used to put swallows, as you can see on the label, used to put swallows on their labels on a regular basis, and then they got away from it, so now they're paying homage to that. by putting those 3 swallows back on. All right, enough chit chat. This is also 86.4 proof, non-chill filtered, triple distilled. No age statement again, but you have to imagine it's going to be 3 years at least. That's the tradition for Irish whiskey, unless you say otherwise. So let's give Powers 3 Swallow a try. Wow. All right. So right off the bat, nowhere near the alcohol burn like I get in the Gold Label. Much, much smoother as far as that general taste, that general, is that alcohol going to kick you in the teeth? No, it's not. It definitely is not. And it definitely, being a 100% barley, it definitely has that kind of taste to it. I want to say it might be even just be a little bit sweeter to me than the Powers Gold Label. This is going to run you, the 3 Swallows is going to run you around $50, $55, so it's a little more expensive. But I think for a whiskey that is a sipper, more, this, I don't know whether you put ice in your whiskey or not. I go back and forth. Most nights I do, some nights I don't. Just depends on what I'm feeling. This one I'm not sure that I'd want to put ice in. It's got such a nice, good body. And I wish my palate were a little better so I could tell you all the nuances. And it's just not. I'm a blue-collar whiskey drinker. I know what I like and I know what I don't like. So, take that for what it's worth. But this Powers 3 Swallow, yeah, it's definitely a different taste than the Gold Label, in a good way. I really find this to be a smoother pour of whiskey than I do the Powers Gold Label. And I think I'd be more inclined to maybe cut this with an ice cube a little bit than I would the 3 Swallow. So, for what it's worth. All right. Now, let's go to the old-timer in the group. Powers John's Lane. There is an age statement on there. That's a single pot still whiskey that's been aged for 12 years in both American oak and some Oloroso sherry casks. So it's right up there with Redbreast 12 on age. Triple distilled, non-chill filtered. Although this is 92 proof. So it's got a little bit more kick than the other two, at least from an alcohol standpoint. And remember that, again, Powers started their operation on John's Lane before they moved to Midleton, 1974. So it's kind of paying homage to where they got their start. I remember when we tried this on the last video, it was a really, really fine whiskey. So let's see if we remember that. It's good. That is a good drop of whiskey. Is it better than 3 Swallow? I don't know. I think that's going to be something that you guys are going to have to choose for your palates. And here's why I say that. I think overall, the Powers Gold Label is a fine whiskey for an entry level. And I really do want to put that up against my Tullamore Dew, my Roe & Co. I definitely want to see how they square off with each other, because they all three taste pretty similar. But the Powers John's Lane, being a bit more expensive, I think I paid around 65, 70-ish, I think. I don't remember. I've had it for a little while. So it's going to be more expensive than the 3 Swallow, but is it better than the 3 Swallow? For my blue collar taste buds, I don't know that it is right off. Hang on one second here. Okay, there's the 3 Swallow. And there's the John's Lane. They're both single pot still whiskeys. And those are my favorite. We've mentioned that, and I'll mention that on every video going forward if I have to. Single pot still, by far my favorite whiskey. They're really close, but they're close for different reasons. This one has what I kind of feel like is a little bit sweeter taste, a little bit smoother taste. This one, the John's Lane, I think has more of that single pot still in your face kind of single pot still taste. And I like that. I like knowing that when I pick up a bottle of whiskey and it's single pot still, that I get that traditional Irish single pot still taste. And I'm not saying that that taste is absent in the 3 Swallow. It is there. Just don't think that it's there as strong as the John's Lane. So if I had to pick and I could only take one with me wherever I was going, I think it's going to be the John's Lane. Not by much, but I think the John's Lane is going to take it. Now, if you're looking for something that has a little more oomph, something that has a little more of a refined taste, I would go with the Powers 3 Swallow. Where if you don't want to spend as much as you would for a John's Lane, maybe spend a little more than you would for an everyday sipper, get the Powers 3 Swallow. For a single pot still, man, that's some good whiskey. And it's at a great price, if you can find it. If you are looking for just an entry-level, everyday sipper of these 3, you got to go with the Powers Gold Label. And we're going to see, maybe in the next video, I don't know, maybe one after that, we'll put it up against 1 or 2 others, and we'll see how it goes with an everyday. But that's what I have for you this evening. Powers Gold Label, Powers 3 Swallow, Powers John's Lane. All from Midleton. Great whiskeys. And I would drink these 3 any day of the week with any of you. So, do me a favor. If you liked this video, please go down and click the thumbs up. It'll take you about a second or 2. It would mean a lot to me if you would do that. And if you don't want to miss any of my future videos, I try to do them once a week, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Leave me a message on the YouTube channel. Find me on Facebook, Sean's Irish Whiskey Shelf. Don't forget, if you like Irish whiskey, check out the Irish Whiskey Fans of America on Facebook. Very knowledgeable crowd. Lots of folks in there who love their Irish whiskey. So if you like Irish whiskey, you're in great company there. So until we meet again, I want you to be well and be safe. Enjoy your Irish whiskey, but please do so responsibly. So we're here together next week for our next video. And that's all I have for you this evening. Sláinte. Bye now.